All right, welcome to the Manufacturers Network. Here's Lisa.
Hey, it's Lisa Ryan. Welcome to the Manufacturers Network podcast. Here's something I know to be true. Employees don't want to just work for a paycheck. They want to work for a purpose. They want to be part of something that's bigger than themselves. And here's the good news. Manufacturing companies are uniquely positioned to deliver exactly that. When you give back to your employees, your community, and causes that align with your values, you're not just doing good in the world, you're building loyalty, pride, and a culture that people fight to stay in. So today we're going to talk about acts of service. This is the fifth gear in the Six Gears of Grategy, and this is the one that builds loyalty. We're going to talk about how purpose-driven companies create stronger teams by making the world a better place. Now, this episode is brought to you by Grategy, where we help manufacturing leaders create cultures that people want to work in and nobody wants to leave. Through the Six Gears of Grategy, we give leaders practical tools to strengthen their teams and drive results, from onboarding to leadership development to purpose-driven culture strategies that inspire loyalty. Learn more at lisaryanspeaks.com. So why this matters more than ever? Years ago, giving back was an afterthought, something you did with leftover time and budget. But today's workforce has fundamentally different expectations. They want to work for organizations that stand for something beyond profit margins. I see this passion at every association meeting I keynote at. The event locations are full of people who are passionate about things that, well, most people on the planet totally take for granted. They're also deeply committed to solving problems that most of the world doesn't even know exist. Technical challenges, industry innovations, breakthrough solutions. They're not just making products, they're making things that matter. The pandemic proved this point powerfully. Almost overnight, companies pivoted to produce masks, face shield, ventilator parts, hand sanitizer, whatever was needed. It didn't matter if it fit their business model. They stepped up because it was right. And you know what? Employees felt it. They knew they were part of the solution, contributing to something that truly mattered. And that sense of purpose stuck. And many employees are still looking for that feeling today. As Simon Sinek says, people don't care what you do, they care why you do what you do. So employees are now asking, what does this company believe in? Does my work matter beyond the product that we make? Are we using our influence to make a difference? When the answer is yes, and when your actions match your words, that's when people feel a deep emotional connection to your mission. And that connection creates loyalty that you simply can't buy. So let's bust some of the myths. Myth number 1, purpose-driven culture is only for nonprofits. Manufacturing companies can have even more impact by tying their products, services, and profits to something meaningful. Take a packaging company. On the surface, it's boxes and pallets. But what if their mission includes using sustainable materials and helping customers hit environmental goals? Now they're just not making boxes, they're contributing to a cleaner planet. Or consider a tool and die shop sponsoring scholarships for local students in the skilled trades. They're not just filling a talent pipeline, they're changing lives and giving young people a future in manufacturing. Manufacturing moves the needle because you're part of an infrastructure that keeps the world running. Myth number 2, acts of service have to be massive initiatives. It's not about writing big checks or launching high-profile campaigns. It's about creating authentic opportunities for employees to get involved. One client I have sets up monthly volunteer days at a local food bank on company time. Another keeps a community board where employees can post service projects and coworkers can pitch in. Sometimes it's even simpler, donating scrap materials to a vocational school for welding practice, or employees building a ramp for a coworker's family member. These smaller personal efforts often have the biggest emotional impact. They show that service isn't corporate speak, it's embedded in how you operate every day. So how can you lead with purpose? Strategy number 1, connect your work to your mission. People need to know their jobs mean more than cranking out widgets or meeting quotas. Yes, we make things, but those things solve problems, improve lives, and sometimes save lives. When people know the why, they work harder, care more, and stick around longer. A quick action? At your next team meeting, share a story about how your product made a real difference. Maybe it helped a customer hit a critical deadline or kept a community safe. Don't be afraid to inject personality. We thought we were just shipping boxes, but it turns out we're shipping hope in corrugated form. Strategy number 2, give employees opportunities to serve together. Rolling up your sleeves next to a coworker in a non-work setting changes everything. Whether assembling care packages, reading to kids, or sorting cans at a food bank, people connect differently. Those connections stick when they return to work. A quick action? Organize at least one voluntary service day annually. Make it easy. Clear schedules, arrange transportation, and feed people. More people show up when there's food involved. Strategy number 3, align acts of service with company values. Random giving is good, but strategic giving that aligns with your mission and values, that resonates deeply with employees and customers. It's the difference between we donated something and we donated to something that reflects exactly who we are. Quick action. Ask your team to nominate causes that connect with your company's values. Choose 1 or 2 to support together. When the cause comes from employees, you get instant buy-in. Strategy number 4, lead from the front. When the boss is stacking boxes at the food drive or swinging a hammer on a habitat build, it changes everything. It sends a clear message. This isn't PR. This is who we are. Be there for the work, not just the photo op. Employees spot a selfie-only leader a mile away. Quick action? Show up ready and get your hands dirty at your next service event. Pro tip, don't wear your best shoes unless you want a permanent reminder of your service day. The bottom line, here's what I've learned after years of working with manufacturing leaders. Companies that lead with a purpose don't just do well. They do good while doing well. They attract better talent, retain top performers longer, and create cultures that become magnetic. Your employees are already proud of what they make. When you show them how their work connects to a bigger mission and give them opportunities to serve that mission together, that pride transforms into something deeper, loyalty, purpose, and a sense of belonging that no competitor can steal. The world needs what you make, but more than that, it needs companies that make things and make a difference. When you lead with purpose, you don't just build better products, you build better teams, stronger communities, and a legacy that matters. That's how you create a culture that people just don't work in, they believe in. In our next episode, we'll dive into applause and how celebrating wins, both big and small, creates momentum and keeps your culture thriving. Thanks for joining me on this episode of the Manufacturers Network. I'm Lisa Ryan, reminding you that culture is not a perk, it's your strongest competitive advantage. We'll see you next time.